Yeah, absolutely. We ended up meeting Tommy at Maryland Doomfest this past year, which we played. And it was right
Great
after
show.
that he saw the live set and he signed us pretty much just based off of that live performance, and then some
Awesome.
videos that he had seen prior to the fest. Like he was definitely, we were on his radar before that, but that pretty much as soon as we got off stage at Maryland Doomfest, we were talking about how we were going to make this deal happen and stuff like that.
How ex- Hey, this is S. Patrick Brooks from the Heavy Underground Farm Report. I've got Caleb Reiser here from Black Moon Cult. Super excited to have Caleb here, man. Black Moon Cult has some exciting stuff coming up. They've got a new album coming out this year. They've got some touring opportunities they're taking full advantage of. And if you haven't heard these guys, you really need to jump on YouTube and check them out. Caleb, thanks for being here. I appreciate you, man.
Thanks for having me, man. Stoked to be on.
I'm stoked to have you on. Caleb and I came across each other. One day I made some ridiculous statement about Black Rainbows being the best band in the world. And Scott Spires challenged me from Clean and Sober Stover. But Caleb came right to my rescue and sent me a detailed text message exactly why Black Rainbows is the best band in the world. But maybe they're not.
They absolutely
Maybe
are,
it's
man.
Black Moon Cult, man. I don't
We're
know.
coming for them, man. We're coming for them. We're hot on their heels.
But that's awesome. I've been listening to a lot of your live stuff, Caleb. You guys are younger guys. You know, a lot of the bands I talk to in the scene are closer to my age in their late 40s, 50s, and stuff. You guys are in your 20s. And so I've been interested to see the songs that you've been writing, and also the covers have been interesting to me. So there was some Black Sabbath on YouTube that I guess I would expect, you know, coming from this
Hmm.
genre. But man, you also cover Working Man by Rush. You guys have a little prog influence in your music, it sounds like.
Big time for sure. Rush is definitely like one of our favorite bands. When we're trying to describe our sound to like normies, we'll kind of say like it's a mixture of Black Sabbath, Pink Floyd, and Rush, because we have like the fuzzy riffage stuff happening, but we're also super into like the psychedelic end of things. I'm especially inspired by Sid Barrett era Pink Floyd, and then we love
Awesome.
time signatures and weird synth sounds and like all like the prog stuff too. So it's just kind of mixing
Yeah,
all of that stuff together.
right on. I got a lot of that on your single that you guys have out, the Supernova song. There's definitely
Yep.
some of that influence in
Oh,
there, man.
absolutely. Yeah, there's like some like Yes inspired like Moog keyboard work and stuff for sure.
So tell me, man, you're a pretty young guy and you're referencing Rush and Yes pretty easily. Did you grow up with a background? Did you tell me about like where you learned about music and stuff?
For sure. I first got into music through movies actually. It was old Michael J. Fox films for me. I loved him when I was a kid. I saw Back to the Future, that opening scene where he blows himself back with the giant speaker, the guitar plugged in. As soon as I saw that, I was like, that's the coolest thing in the world. And then you see
Yeah.
Teen Wolf and you hear Surfin' USA by the Beach Boys. And when I heard that song, I was like, what is this? And I've always been super into like surf guitar and stuff. So I had super cool grandparents and a super cool mom. They had awesome music taste. My grandparents used to like follow ELP in the 70s. They saw Bowie,
Nice.
King Crimson,
That's
Zeppelin, they
awesome.
saw. And then my mom grew up kind of like in the height of the grunge era. So there was always like Pearl Jam and Alice in Chains and some Soundgarden playing in the house. So there was just always cool music around when I was growing up.
Right on, man. That's awesome. I think that God, what a huge advantage. I had to overcome a lot of Barbara Streisand from my childhood, so you know, I always felt like that. Maybe I should get like a extra write off on my taxes, but you guys are like building up a reputation in like a traditional way that bands did in the 70s and the 80s. You guys don't have a lot of music available online, but there's a lot of live YouTube videos that are amazing, that are sound great, by the way. I'm super impressed by the sound.
I've got to
The camera
shout
works
out to
good, but
I've got to shout out to Eric Lenhoff for that one. He is pretty well known around the Ohio stoner scene for traveling around. He'll catch 3 shows in one night sometimes and film every single band that he sees, and then by the next
all
morning you'll
right.
see the full sets will be up on his YouTube channel. So most of our live footages come from Eric Lenhoff. So I gotta shout him out
Oh,
real quick.
right on. Eric Lindhoff. Yeah, that's awesome. Like I said, they look and sound great. It's super fun to watch them. So you guys have decided to, like, what led you to the decision? Like, we're going to tour a lot, we're going to do a lot of shows, and we're not going to release an album until we've done that for a while. What was the thought process?
Um, we felt really strongly in the material that we've been cooking up for this first record. Part of it is songs that have been around since the band started in about 2021. So some of the songs are about 4 years old now. And then a couple of them are fresh that we cooked up right before we entered the studio. And we just felt so strongly in it that we didn't want to give it the kind of typical local band release where you just kind of like go to your local studio, record it, put it up on Spotify, and then just like hope it lands somewhere and stuff like that. We felt very strongly that
Well, you certainly didn't do that.
no, no, not at all. We felt that we wanted a label that was going to put it on vinyl. We wanted someone that was going to be behind the music and felt as strongly as we did about it. Um, and
So you
then,
found an amazing person to do that, buddy.
oh yeah,
Do you wanna
oh
go
yeah,
ahead and drop names now?
yeah.
Because I
Tommy
it's
Stewart. We're with Black Doomba Records. Tommy Stewart has been absolutely amazing to work with. It's kind of a rare scenario too because we were signed before the album was finished. Typically, the way things work now is you either need to have like some demos of the album or a finished album, and then you'll go around and shop it to the various labels and
yeah.
stuff. But we were only about half done recording the album at this point. But like you said, we've been touring pretty regularly for about 2 years now, just all word of mouth based and just kind of online networking and seeking out cool people to play with and then going to their town and playing with them. Um, I forget where I was going with this, but
No, well, tell me. We were talking about just signing with Black Doomba.
oh
Or
yeah,
talking
right.
about the guy who produced or mixed and mastered your album. Or like you're working with really exciting people.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We ended up meeting Tommy at Maryland Doomfest this past year, which we played. And it was right
Great
after
show.
that he saw the live set and he signed us pretty much just based off of that live performance and then some
Awesome.
videos that he had seen prior to the fest. Like he was definitely we were on his radar before that, but that pretty much as soon as we got off stage at Maryland Doomfest, we were talking about how we were going to make this deal happen and stuff like that.
How exciting. That's thrilling.
Which is, like you said, that's how bands did it back in the like no one heard bands before they were signed and released, which is like it's
Right.
cool now that you can just record music and put it out for the world to
Sure.
see, but we felt strongly enough about this that we wanted it to have some sort of a meaningful release and stuff and a push behind it.
I
Um,
think that's awesome.
and to that
Well,
point, the
yeah.
mix and master, which you brought up, we've got Tony
Yeah.
Reed of Moss Generator and Pentagram, which that new
Dang,
Pentagram
dude.
song that just dropped today, insane. That I love this new Pentagram lineup so much.
Cool.
I'm gonna say it right here. It's my favorite Pentagram lineup since the original band.
All right. Well, we'll definitely check out the new Pentagram single that came out today. Well, do you have a name for that? I'm sorry.
It's called Doll Pain.
Cool, cool, man. We'll get a link for that. We'll like distribute that link on the Heavy Underground Farm Report. Cool, but that like when I read that about Tony Reed, that was like pretty eye opening, exciting, and like man, I think that speaks volumes about your band. that you would get someone like that interested in doing that for you on your first album? That has to be pretty complimentary.
Oh, absolutely. And he's one of my big ins I love Moss Generator. Um,
Good to
we
see
were
him in
planning
2 weeks.
we were planning on working with him before he got the Pentagram gig. Even I'm just such a huge Moss Generator fan, and I'm a big studio nut too. So I watch all of Tony's like studio videos that he posts on YouTube, and
Cool.
yeah, yeah, big fan of Tony, and absolutely honored that he's working on our record.
Yeah, man, that is so cool. Well, during your touring, you are in the Midwest, and it's a hot spot for bands right now. I mean, well, it always has been, I guess. I mean, it's just a rock and roll mecca. So, but who have you like played with before? Over the last year or so, who have you like played with that was like has been an influence on how you do business or how you approach your writing? Somebody that you just kind of look up to, and maybe has like taught you guys a couple of things. Who do you have a band or two you want to throw out that's helped you guys out in that way?
Oh yeah, the first person that comes to mind is Kenny Kreiser from the band Mirror Queen, and he's also the owner of TP Records.
Nice.
We linked with Kenny just kind of coincidentally. We used to have a booking agent who was working on booking our first East Coast tour, and we were looking for a Philadelphia date, and our booking agent got a hold of their booking agent somehow, and we ended up together on a bill with the Atomic Bitch Wax in Philly, and then we
I
did a
love those
couple.
guys.
And then we did a couple other dates surrounding that show with Mirror Queen. Kind of hit it off with Kenny. He was real impressed by the band and was like, "Let's go on another tour." So the next year, that was 2023 or 2022, my bad. And then in 2023, we went on the Midwest Microdose tour with Mirror Queen.
Okay.
And right
Awesome.
around that time, TP Records released our debut single, Supernova. And Kenny just is a strong band leader. He's super professional. He's nice to everybody that he meets. He was willing to
Yeah.
give me advice when I asked for it. Um, like I said, we released that single through TP. We never had an official deal with them or anything. That was very much just him doing us a massive favor. And
So
then
cool.
when I went to negotiate the deal with Black Doomba or the various other people we were talking to at the time, Kenny was kind of like in my back pocket, hit him up and be like, "Hey man, this is what this deal says. Should I go?" And he helped me kind of navigate our first record deal a bit.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Right on, man. So gosh, once again, man, I mean, that says a lot about you guys as people that people want to jump in there and help you guys out like that and offer their advice. And that's a cool thing about this scene I've noticed is that, the older bands are not gatekeeping you guys. They're encouraging you and they want you out there playing music. That's pretty cool.
Oh, absolutely. The amount of people that I've met that I idolized as a teenager because like you said, I am a bit younger, so
Yeah,
the way that a lot of the people in the scene, like the bands they grew up on, are the Sabbaths and the Deep Purples and the
right.
Zeppelins, and the way they look at those musicians is how I look at people like like Ron Holzner from The Skull and Trouble, or
That's cool, man.
Carl
Yeah, yeah.
Legel from Corrosion of Conformity, for example. Like those people were such a like I used to carve like the skull into my desk in school and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So
Sure, sure, sure. Man, that's cool. And did you find, because like I knew I was never gonna like get to like I mean Ozzy Osbourne was gonna be working the merch booth at his show. Were you influenced in any way by the accessibility of the musicians that you idolized?
absolutely. Because in when I was younger, the punk scene was big for me. That was kind of the first music scene that I really got into, and that was like
Cool.
a big appeal of punk rock for me was how accessible it was, and it wasn't like rock star bullshit, and it was a
Right.
community. And Like rock has fallen out of the mainstream a little bit, but I think it's fallen into a new, different sort of golden age, I think it's way
I
cooler.
agree.
I think it's way
I
cooler
agree.
that you can just like go to the Maryland Doomfest and you could talk to any one of those guys and you're gonna have a cool time. And everybody in this, I haven't met an asshole in this scene yet, you know?
I haven't either, man. It's great. It's crazy, and I hope that streak continues. I mean, like the accessibility, how cool people are. It's just it's an amazing part of the scene, man. Do you so Bud? You guys cranked out this album, and you're on the road all the time. Did you guys write all the songs on the road, or did you take some breaks and do some writing separately?
We definitely, a lot of it was a lot of it is pre-thought out, like worked out at home. Because a lot of the progressive parts, um, you can't really jam that kind of stuff out. Like when you're in like a 13/8 time signature, it's hard to, you know what I'm saying? So we definitely do get pretty meticulous on our stuff when we're at home, and we get together and we grind pretty hard on new material. But at the same time, we go out, and once we play it live, it becomes a different thing because we purposefully do leave sections for improvisation in the live because
Cool.
I'm really into jazz. When I got out of high school, I went and studied jazz guitar for a little bit because I wanted to improvise. That was what I wanted to do. So we'll leave
Okay.
sections of the songs to where we can jam, and it's like whatever happens here happens. We don't talk about what we're gonna do that night. It's just, and
Awesome.
once you
No,
go out
that's
and do
cool.
some of
That
that,
comes through on those videos.
you'll lock into something cool in a jam, and you'll be like, "Ooh, we need to save this for later," So we put a lot of thought into it before we go out and play live, but then that aspect, the songs transform over time through playing them live for sure.
So tell you know what? So I find you to be a very interesting guitar player and really a really stellar guitar player, Bud. It's very
I
enjoyable to listen to you play.
appreciate that, man.
But there's yeah, man, there's some interesting things about you as a guitar player that are a little bit different about other guitar players on this scene. Your choice of guitar, the Telecaster with single coil pickups,
Hmm.
gives you like a really unique sound. I mean, I know there's guys playing strats and stuff, but I don't really can't think of anybody playing a telly off the top of my head, really. And you probably can because you probably noticed. But man, tell me about that choice because I love that guitar, but like I would maybe not associate it with stoner rock, maybe. So tell me about that choice and your tone and how that factors into your songwriting and your playing.
For sure, absolutely. The two guys who are kind of in this sphere that are on tellies are Jason from Dead Meadow, who Dead Meadow, I got a High Times magazine from a buddy when I was like 13, and I just opened it randomly, and it was Dead Meadow sitting there with like a table full of weed, and there was an interview with them in the and I was like, this is cool. That's how I found out about stoner rock. So that was
Right on. That's awesome.
one telly hero of mine, and then Sid Barrett played tellies back in the early days of Pink
Okay.
Floyd. But
Okay.
what really got me into them was there's a Nashville guitar player named Daniel Donato who's like
Okay.
country jammy kind of like sort of Grateful Dead meets country bluegrass kind of world.
Okay.
But I'm big
Okay.
into like old kind of outlaw country and bluegrass and stuff like that. And Daniel Donato
Yeah.
was
Yeah. I
coming
like that
through.
too.
He was coming through Toledo and playing a show, and I was in the front row, and the whole show I kept kind of bugging him, tapping him on the foot, saying like, "Hey man, you should let me sit in with you guys for a song. Let me sit in for a song. Let me sit in for a song. I don't even care what song it is. Just tell me what
Mhm.
key we're in, and I'm good." So he let me up on stage for the last song, and I think we did "Ramblin' Man" by
That's
Allman
awesome.
Brothers. And he
Yeah.
let
Yeah. Yeah.
me,
Love it.
so he hands me his telly, and I'm playing that telly plugged straight into a little Fender Champ that he just had sitting on the side of the stage. And that thing just played
Okay.
so nice and sounded so good, plugged straight in, that the next day I
Yeah.
had a Les Paul Jr. and a Gretsch at the time, and I took both of
Okay.
those guitars and a few extra pedals to my local guitar shop, and I was like, I'm trading this stuff in. I'm gonna play every telly in this shop, and I'm gonna walk out with the best one. And that's exactly what I did. So that's the
I
story of
love
how
it,
I
man.
wound up on the tellies. Was I he let me up on stage, let me play his. It was fucking awesome. So I went and I got
It
this one the
sounds
next
amazing,
day.
man.
And
Are you
as far
playing
as
through a?
the
Are you still?
playing
No,
through
I'm
a
sorry,
Fender
but I was
amp,
just
is
going
that
to
what you
ask
were
if
gonna
you're still
ask?
playing through a Fender amp. Yeah. Yeah, it
Yep,
is.
yep, yes I am.
Cool.
It's
It
a
sounds great, man. It sounds amazing.
Hot Rod Deluxe, but it's been modified a
Okay.
little bit. I've got a guy local to me, Calvin Cordy at Cordy Audio. He works on all of my stuff. All of my guitars have like a little bit of electronic work that he'll do for it. Like I'll get him and I'll be like, "This is what I want him to do," and he'll rewire them for me. And he's
Right on.
modified my amp, and yeah, he works on my amp in between tours and stuff like that, keeping the tubes fresh and all that kind of deal. So, but yeah, it is a Fender amp, but it's a little bit modified, so it doesn't sound quite like a stock hot rod.
No, it's you have amazing tone, and that like for that to come through on those live videos, and it comes through too, man, on the single, obviously. And yeah, it's a nice, it's different, man, and I think I think what we're seeing that underground, heavy underground, stoner rock scene kind of evolve into some different stuff now, and it's not just sleep drones and bands that only listen to Black Sabbath. So it's a welcome,
That's
you're
very
probably
much
the
what we're
Emerson Lake
trying
and
to
Palmer influence and stuff like that. So
that's very much what we're trying to bring to the table. You know, we love like I love Black Sabbath, but
sure,
it's
sure.
there's so many other people doing that better than like other people are doing Sabbath tribute better than we would. So we're just trying to find our own niche, whatever it is in the scene.
Yeah, right on.
And we're really into stuff like 70s krautrock, like bands like Can or Noi.
Okay.
And then we're also really into like the whole kind of neo psych movement, like the San Francisco bands like OCs, Ty Segall, um, not San Francisco, but King Gizzard kind of falls into that world. So
Yeah, I like King
there's
Gizzard. Okay, cool.
there's so much cool trippy stuff, and that's like what we're into is just cool trippy stuff. Whether it's
Groovy, man. It like
you know, oh, go
well,
on, man.
no, I love it, man. And honestly, you guys have a fresh sound. I'm super, I like very excited for the album. We'll have to make sure that we talk. Do you guys have plans for your next single? Do you know when that's coming out?
No, Tony's still mixing and mastering the record right now,
Cool.
so it'll
Well, I'm
be
gonna
done.
see him in Las Vegas. I'll be like, "Where is it, bro?" No, I won't
Bug
do
him
that.
about
But
it.
I'm
Bug
just
him
kidding.
about it.
I'll ask him about it, man.
When is the Vegas thing?
So So it's at the end of this month. So Planet Desert Rock Weekend 5. I'll just throw a plug out for John Gist. It's starts on the 29th of January and runs through the first couple of days of February. So that's gonna be I'm super excited to see Moss Generator. So
Gotcha.
yeah, I
I
hope I do
think
get a
he
chance to
told me
ask him about it, man.
I think he's gonna be finishing it right before he leaves for that, from what he told me. So
That's so exciting, man.
yeah, yeah.
Well, Caleb, bud, you've got like we talked about. I don't know if we actually did talk about the tour, so let's talk about the couple of tours you guys have coming up in the spring. You guys are doing some stuff with Storm Toker and Megaton Communion, right?
Yep. Just a little Midwest run, some venues that we
Cool.
play pretty frequently around here. Afterlife in Akron, Ohio it'll be, well, I'm looking at my notes right now. April 24th at Afterlife in Akron, 25th at
Cool.
5 O'Clock Lounge in Lakewood, Ohio, and then the 26th is at the Rex Theater in Morenci, Michigan. And then
Right on, man.
we'll have some cool local support on all of those dates as well.
Right on. You hey, really quick, you guys are working with the Midwest Doom Coalition bands too, right? So, do you have anything coming up with those guys, or still
Oh,
in the works? Those
we
guys.
kind of
Yeah,
just
go ahead.
joined the coalition, so we're still kind of like
Cool. Right
working
on.
some things out. But I think Megaton
Right on.
Communion, they're also on Black Doomba Records.
Yeah,
Most of our year right now,
Black
we're going to be
Doomba.
doing stuff with Megaton Communion. After this
Their
April
new
tour,
album. Their Sorry, real
oh,
quick.
you're all good. After
Megaton
this April
Communion. Your new
tour,
album is badass. Go ahead.
it's amazing. That was my
Yeah.
two albums of the year, like tied for number one, are Megaton Communion and then Volume. Those two
Man,
albums.
Volume's album is fucking awesome. And you guys are playing a show with Volume as well, right?
Yep. That is May 23rd at the 5 o'clock Lounge in Lakewood.
Fuck yeah, man. That's super exciting. Yeah, I got to talk to Patrick a couple weeks ago. He's a great guy, and that album is a ripper. The Megaton Communion album, also a ripper, man. I'm sure you guys, and I'm super excited about your album too, bud. I can't wait. It's this summer, and then you guys are going to have a summer tour with Megaton Communion again. So you're going to, are you touring in support of your album? So you're going to tour after the album comes out? Is that the plan?
Um, the tour's in June, and the album may or may not be out by then.
Okay.
It all comes down to we'll have singles out by then, but the vinyl might not
Groovy.
be out. It just comes down to the pressing plant and how quick they get stuff back to us, you know.
Sure, man. I totally understand that. Well, man, Caleb, I really appreciate you taking the time to come on the show, man. I'm super excited about your band. I absolutely love watching the videos. I can't wait to have some vinyl in my hand. Is there anybody you want to like give a shout out to or anything else you want to plug before we wrap it up, buddy?
Just to talk about that June tour a little bit more.
Yeah, go
We're
please
gonna
do.
we're gonna be hitting pretty much from Chicago all the way over to the East Coast and then traveling down south and then working our way back up kind of through that. So it'll be from like Chicago to New Haven, Connecticut, down through Atlanta, I think, and then working our way back up through Nashville. So it's a pretty extensive tour, and I can't say specific dates right now because it hasn't been announced, but
Okay.
some of the bands that we're playing with on this tour, because I've been booking all the local support myself, are Solar Monolith, Angel of Mars,
Oh,
Choke Setter, Grave Next Door, Thunderbird Divine, Lie Heavy, Tommy Stewart's Direwolf. Like, this is going to
dude,
be
are you
one
kidding
of the
me?
stoner rock
Are you
tours of the
kidding
summer.
me? Damn, like that support is insane. Man, I am like, I'm super excited for you guys. Like the music's great. You guys are doing the right stuff. You're hooking up with the right bands and stuff, man. But anything else you want to throw out there? Sorry I interrupted about the tour thing too.
Oh, no,
But
you're
I'm
all
glad
good,
you
man.
like,
No, you're all good. I
man. Do
just
you guys?
wanted
Oh,
to
how
get.
about festival? Any festivals? Any festival appearances?
Oh, I will say, I can't confirm or deny us for Grand Rapid Doomfest at this point, but one of our tour dates is a showcase that is hosted by the Grand Rapids Doomfest. It's going to be their first ever Grand Rapids Doomfest Presents showcase, and that'll
Hell
be
yeah,
in Grand Rapids, obviously. So that'll be a cool show. That's in June. I'm
that's
hoping that we
exciting.
can make it back for the festival. I'm
Man,
hoping we can make
Jason
it
does
back
it.
for the
Man,
fest.
yeah, but he's a great guy, man. Right on. Well, hey, man, hey, Caleb, thanks, bud. I'm gonna like let everybody else go. Thanks for tuning into the Heavy Underground Farm Report, listening to me chat with Caleb Reiser from Black Moon Cult. Man, we'll have a new album out for them guys in a couple months. Caleb, if you could just hang on for a second. Thanks, everybody else. I appreciate you guys. I'm gonna like just stop the recording. All right, bud.
Yeah!